Welcome back to the PvP Live Studios here in Frisco, Texas. You're watching HPL. I'm Tanner Grace. That's Nathan. That's Admirable Zamora. And you know what? We're seeing an amazing match here. ek0p is taking the first step back to a comeback.
Yeah, playing Priest of all things, you know, it's one of the last classes I would expect him to play, given how much he loves extremely powerful strategies with something like Warlock, but it was able to pick up the win here after he stabilized at a single point of health.
Yeah, that single point of health, he got to cling onto life just long enough, and that heal ended up being huge because he ended up drawing Kranich ended up drawing the Fiery War Axe there that would have actually killed him. So I would have lost that game because I was like, you know what, he can start to push from here. But you know, ek0p had the forethought to take care of that, you know, and heal himself out of that range.
Yeah, when you're at 1 and you can, you know, triple your life total with 2 mana, I got to go with tripling my life total for 2 mana. I personally would have played it defensively as well. Love the fact that he recognized that. I mean, if the game keeps going, he's going to win it. So guys, game 4 is getting underway right now. ek0p versus Kranich. This match has been crazy so far, and they have shown that they will play anything. And look at this, ek0p, he's running the Priest back.
Yeah, he's running back, and Kranich looking like going pretty aggressive with what we thought we would see a lot of out of ek0p here in Warlock.
Yeah, this is Zoo Warlock decks can be extremely scary, but ek0p's hand pretty well equipped, I think, to deal with something like this. Deathlord gonna, you know, be a major problem for Kranich,
pick up his
and
Zombie
he's got
Chow
Zombie
here.
Chow to go with it. I mean,
yeah. Oh, his hand's just great.
Yeah,
Zombie Chow like Deathlord, holding over Cabal Shadow Priest. This is what you want to be doing with a Priest deck in this matchup. He's going to be able to weave in some hero powers here and there and gain some life back too. Kranich has got a tall order in front of him here to win this game.
He has got his work cut out for him, indeed. And his turn 1. Looks pretty good though. I think Flame Imp Voidwalker is pretty solid. Turn 1, start pushing through some damage, and then follow it up with a Knife Juggler. You're looking like smooth sailing for a couple turns.
Yeah, absolutely. This Voidwalker being his open hand along with this Flame Imp is going to really help him out here. Not getting checked by the Zombie Chow is a very big deal.
Yeah, so pretty easy turn from ek0p, I think. He does have the Wild Pyromancer now, though, so I wouldn't even mind seeing him play that just to get an extra threat on the board. But I don't mind him seeing him save it either. It's such a crucial card in this matchup, you know. So when you combo it with stuff like Power Word Shields, you're looking at massive amounts of AoE potential through a couple spells. And Kranich picks up Power Overwhelming right now, but he's got a little bit of a decision now. Does he want to go with Nerubian Egg into Void Terror, or does he want to play Knife Juggler instead? Yeah,
he's got a lot of great options. If you Nerubian Eggs, he gets, you know, some added value out of his Power Overwhelming. Then he can get some Void Terror turns going. You got to worry about putting too big of a minion in play against Priest. You don't want to let Shadow Word Death become an actual card against you too often. But you know, do you Knife Juggler here? There's a lot of things that can go wrong going forward if you just, you know, take it really, really slow.
Yeah. So you know, now the other question too here is, does he trade in this Flame Imp?
Yeah, that was one thing I was about to say. There's a chance that he actually just trades in this Flame Imp. Yeah, I think he's going to really protect this Knife Juggler going forward and just get a ton of value from that.
Yeah, so only has ek0p down to 29, and he is about to majorly start stabilizing this board. Deathlord is not an easy one to push through. He does have Power Overwhelming, and he will get a refunded minion off of it, but you know, if he doesn't get one of the biggest minions in his deck, say he gets something that isn't very strong, it could spell a lot of trouble for him. So he's going to try to juggle this. Does get the juggle. Now does he Power Overwhelming this Knife Juggler? I think he does.
Yeah, you're going to leave around the Voidwalker here, make sure you can still get in some damage here, but let's see what minion gets out of it. There's some really big ones that he can hit here. Doomguard is a great one. He gets to attack for 5, and you see the head shake from ek0p here. This is one of the ways that ek0p loses this game from here.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you. I mean, that's, you know, Kranich's deck, though, has been no shortage of minions. We've seen Malagos in his hand. He had Lotheb in his deck as well.
And the 2 really good ones to hit,
yeah, there are some good ones to hit. You know, on average, he will hit a much weaker minion, but this is the risk versus reward of running a card like Deathlord, is that it could get you a big early game advantage, but sometimes it can backfire.
Yeah, it's going to backfire big on ek0p here. He went from being what I felt was a pretty big favorite, or a decent favorite to win this game, to all of a sudden being pretty far behind.
Yep, so just going to be Wild Pyromancer. And going to be reluctant to cast another spell after this, though, because he doesn't want to trigger that Nerubian Egg. But Kranich has got plenty of ways to make that happen. He's going to go with the Void Terror here. It's going to get a 3/4 and a 4/4 from the Nerubian Egg. And then, is this 5 points of damage? Is this going to be pushing this Wild Pyromancer, or is it going for the dome?
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting thing, is how Kranich wants to play from here. Does he need to push for a ton of damage here? But I think leaving around the Wild Pyromancer is very dangerous.
Yeah, I think it's too dangerous as well. Love the fact that he's going for the trades here now. And ek0p, once again, in sort of an interesting position, because the Doomguard has put a lot of pressure on him, but he's kind of backing this up a little bit. You know, if this Deathlord puts damage into multiple of these minions, and then he has Holy Nova afterwards, he could easily recover this board.
Yeah, this is going to be a great turn for ek0p. He's going to probably Deathlord heal himself here. Damage is going to have to go into his Death Lord from a bunch of Kranich's minions, and Holy Nova might be able to get him back in this game next turn.
Yeah, Alkanai Soul Priest also would be a very good draw now that he has a circle of healing too. So not completely out of this game yet, certainly at a disadvantage and a ways to go, but I think it starts with this Death Lord and hoping that you get a little bit lucky.
Yeah, and he's got a Cabal Shadow Priest in his hand for later down the game when Kranich finally puts this Haunted Creeper into play too. So he's got a lot of things that Kranich can do from the next couple turns, pretty checked up here.
Yeah, now it's going to be a matter of whether or not Kranich wants to go with Loatheb or if he's going to go with Voidcaller. I'm sorry, yeah, with the Voidcaller here. And since he gets a Voidcaller out, he's got to be Loatheb after that. I mean, this is just so much pressure raining down on ek0p now. Down to 20 and facing down 10, 17. He's facing down 20 points of damage on the board.
And he can't even cast Holy Nova. Yeah, this is just the nightmare scenario. He's actually just going to die here.
Yeah, even has Harrison Jones in his hand, but no way to stave off this much damage, I don't think. He can't heal himself. I mean, just force Kranich to have the extra points, and maybe if he plays Harrison Jones, Kranich just hastily trades into Harrison Jones and goes from there. I mean, that's definitely a possibility. We've seen players miss lethal before. Yeah,
it's going to be hard for him to miss lethal with Direwolf Alpha, though, here. Just a ton of damage going into ek0p here. Kranich is going to win this match.
Yeah, I'm just going to make the big pushes here, and that Death Lord really backfiring for ek0p. I mean, what can you do in that situation, though? You know, put up your best fight and see what you can happen, but sometimes the cards go a little bit south on you. Death Lord, again, on average, going to be getting a smaller minion in this game. Gets Kranich and Doomguard, but his deck has a ton of big minions in it. You know, a card like Death Lord, maybe not the best against him.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That was the big and deciding turn of that game. Getting that card off of Death Lord turned the entire game around. If you looked at the opening hands, you had to feel like ek0p had a very, very good chance of forcing a game 5 here in this match. But it ended up being a little too much out of Kranich's deck, and Kranich took the match 3-1.
Yeah, and he's also playing Priest, and we've had a lot of professionals say before that Priest is very good when you know exactly what your opponents are playing. Kranich queued up 4 different decks in this series. You know, I'd venture to say that ek0p doesn't have a very strong idea of what Kranich is playing, and that's one of the strengths of swapping up your strategies, that people don't have those strong reads on you. Your game plan is a lot harder to disrupt than your opponent's game plan is for you, because you know, they're the ones who typically aren't mixing it up if you're the player who likes to go all over the place with them. So great stuff that we see from Kranich. Picks up another win here in HPL, and we're going to be getting an interview with him to get some of his insights into his strategy and how he tackled this match versus ek0p. If you want to see the full match for yourself, you can head over to pvplive.net and check out the full stats breakdowns, the recaps, and everything that happened in our first match here tonight. So that's going to do it for our first match. It's in the books, but we've got 2 more for you coming up. But first, we're going to have that interview with Kranich. Don't go anywhere, guys. When we come back, we're talking to him about it. You're watching Hearthstone on PvP Live.